I'm going to call the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting to order. Can we start with a roll call?
Mary Seminara.
James Meyer.
Aziz Hassan.
Norma Drummond.
Tara Franco.
Can I ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. As this is our first meeting of 2018, Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Here.
All right, so our next two upcoming meetings are Tuesday, February 27th and March 27th. In the event that anybody here this evening for review is scheduled for a public hearing, the snow policy is if town hall is closed because of inclement weather, the zoning board meeting is not rescheduled. It is actually just postponed, it's just, will be held to the following month. So, and we would ask that if you have a date on your sign, that you just change the date on your sign to reflect March if February is canceled, but so far we're good. All right, we have one set of minutes to approve. There's minutes to approve from November 28th. There were a couple suggested amendments that I circulated.
Motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Very good. That's right. Waiting for you.
Okay. Okay, so we have one decision on where, again, there's nothing new. This is the application that the zoning board and the planning board together has made a request of New York State DEC to reconsider allowing this proposed building to go into the buffer a little bit. So there's absolutely nothing new on item number one. So we do have an unusual circumstance here for item number two. The board a couple months ago passed a resolution related to East Fishkill Solar, and we put a stipulation in there about the decommissioning of the solar farm in the event that it was no longer needed for use. And we put a requirement in there that it would be subject to the Public Service Commission, and in fact, the decommissioning plan would need to be approved by NYSERDA. So I need to ask for a motion to approve an amendment to our approval resolution to reflect that it is not PSC, but it would be actually NYSERDA instead.
So, do we need to have the motion read into the record, or do we just make a motion to amend as you have proposed?
We can just make a motion to, we're amending one word.
Okay, so
So-
motion to amend as proposed, I make a motion to amend as proposed.
Good, okay. Nothing else in the resolution is going to change. Okay? Is there a second?
Second, unless there was a question.
I have no question. I'm
Second.
fine with it.
Good. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good. Thank you. So Pam, you can notify the applicant on that one. Okay, so we do have one public hearing this evening, and then after that, we do have 3 reviews. So the public hearing, the board's already had an opportunity to review this application, so now it's the opportunity for us to hear from the neighbors. And for the 3 reviews, these are actually all new applications, so it will be the first time that we are looking at those, and those will not be subject to public comment tonight. They'll be ready for public comment at the appropriate time. So item number 3, Appeal 3858 Johns, Monica Johns, representing Ellie Fischler, 43 McEwen Terrace, Hopewell Junction, is requesting an additional 4-foot sideline variance for an existing 24-foot by 24-foot detached garage and a 6-foot sideline variance for an existing 8-foot by 10-foot shed pursuant to sections 194-107C and B3. Ms. Fischler was granted a 10-foot sideline variance for the garage in 1976. However, the garage was built 4 feet closer to the property line and is therefore requesting the additional 4-foot sideline variance. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so good evening. If you don't mind, come on up to the microphone. So just a recap of what we learned last month, seeing your application, November, 2 months ago, yes. There was a survey done.
Right.
Originally, and again, the garage was built, it was built with a permit, but the permit was not closed out, if I
It was
remember
not, it wasn't
correctly?
closed. It has been
Yes,
taken
okay.
care of since then.
Good, thank you, because that was one of the things that we did ask, could you look into that? So it was no fault of your parents that this happened. It was really, they went by virtue of survey, because you are now looking to sell the house, you got a new survey done,
Yeah.
and that's when you discovered that the garage ended up being built the 4 feet closer.
Right.
And it was, that garage has been there since 1976,
Yep.
was when you got the original variance. So
Yeah.
it's been there for 40 years. So, and, you know, and your neighbors didn't complain, so I
No.
don't think that that was ever the issue. It's just cleaning it up so that you can have clean title for the sale. So there's also the 8-foot by 10-foot shed.
Right.
We talked about the fact there was also a smokehouse in the back.
taken care of.
And
That was
that's been
removed.
removed. Okay,
Yes.
good, because when we looked at the survey, we noticed that that was
Yeah.
also a structure out there that hadn't, you said hadn't been used for a while.
No. It was
So-
a smokehouse my father used when he made sausages, but my parents have been divorced for over 20 years, so it hasn't been used in a while.
Just a memory.
All right, so comments or questions from board members?
I have
There was
none.
also a carport that was supposed to be removed.
Taken care of. It wasn't really a carport. It covered my mother's garbage cans from the snow.
Thank you. Thank you for really clearing everything up, because it just
Okay,
makes
no
everything
problem.
easier. So, Rick, at this point, you're okay with building department is under control with what you
Also
need?
got a permit for the porch, I believe.
Got permits for everything. They got signed off.
Okay, we did get one letter from one of your neighbors
Okay.
dated January 7th, 2018. I, Robert Falcone, give a variance to Monica Johns at 43 McEwen Terrace, Hopewell Junction, for her 2-car garage.
Okay.
Okay, so we do appreciate the fact that you communicated with your neighbors and they don't have any issue with that. So is there anyone here who wishes to speak for or against?
Slim Pickens.
This is the gentleman buying the home. He just wants to make
okay.
sure it goes.
I think he's speaking for it then.
He's for it, yes.
And the rest of the room is empty, so that's
we're good.
just for the record. Okay, so do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. Jim, you gonna go?
Okay, this is reference to Appeal 3858 by Monica Johns representing Elliot Fisher in reference to a additional 4-foot sideline variance for an existing 24 by 24-foot detached garage and a 6-foot sideline variance for an existing 8 by 10-foot shed pursuant to sections 194-107C and B3, located at 43 McGowan Terrace, Hopewell Junction, New York, and resolution being offered by zoning board member James Meyer. Whereas the applicant has applied for the above stated variances, and whereas the board moves to adopt their standard decision and order and finds that the granting of the variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to the community, as the garage and shed have been in that location for over 40 years. The desired result cannot be achieved by some other means. The variance requested is not substantial. The proposed area variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions. Now therefore, be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals hereby approves the above stated variances.
Is there a second?
Second.
Votes as follows, Jim?
Aye.
Aziz? Tara? Aye. Mary?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Your motion
Okay.
carries, you're all set.
Okay, do I need any paperwork, or,
She's already closed out the permit, right? So,
so we're good?
I-
You're
I
good?
believe so.
Awesome.
I don't know.
and you're good.
I have a question about, as far as paperwork to get to, I guess, the lawyer's office for title clearing.
The title company would do a municipal search, so
Okay.
that would get to the building department all through the title company.
Okay,
Yeah.
when can they get that, tomorrow?
We'll have to order it.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were contacted, and it'll just come back no violation.
Okay, all
That's
right.
all it's gonna come back,
Okay.
unless they doing something different, but that's what they're
There shouldn't be
interested in.
anything different.
They might have
The
ordered it
electrical
already.
inspector signed off on everything.
I don't know, I didn't do the inspections.
Okay.
Max did the inspections
That's the
on
electrical,
yours.
he did it, and then, what's his name? The
I just know you were in making application and everything, because I saw
been
you
done.
there, but
The only thing they said, they couldn't give me a CO on the garage until the variance was done.
Yep.
Right.
Everything else I got the COs on.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Pass the word on that it's okay for us.
that she can get the CO, okay.
But the title company won't come in personally, they'll just do a contact them by email or letter,
Right.
however they
Okay.
do it nowadays.
All right, thank you very much.
Shouldn't be
Have
more
a
than a
good
couple
evening.
days,
Okay.
okay? All right, Pam, we have nobody else in the room, so what is the expectation as it relates to these other three applications?
Do you want me to go call them?
No,
No?
I think we wait just a couple minutes and then that's it.
I'm wondering if we can have a discussion. One is requesting an interpretation, and I'm wondering if we can have a discussion
Certainly.
related to that, just in, whether they want to add to it at some point in the future because of their specific lot may be different.
Or make a
But-
decision for the judge.
Oh, well, you're right, this is one where you actually are in court, there's a
We're in
violation,
court,
so,
yes.
so perhaps let's take a look at the last one, all right? Review number 6, no, sorry, it's number 5.
Number 5.
Number 5, Joanne Morgan and Fred Pena, 2 Kane Drive, Stormville, requesting an interpretation of what is considered their front yard as they have a corner lot. All right, and so when we take a look, I think you all have a copy of their survey with the application. And so the issue is that they have a very long and narrow lot, that their driveway is on Kane, but their front yard, well, they have 2 front yards, because it is their front door, sorry, thank you. Their
Jason's
front,
Town.
so the front door is on, yes, Leetown,
Faces Leetown.
faces Leetown. So
And we know that how exactly?
And-
this is
and-
not the first corner lot that we have seen.
And Pam found the filed map, which made a statement on there that the driveways are to enter from the interior road.
Yes, so relative to what Rick is talking about now, Pam actually found the filed map from a subdivision going back to 1976. And this is a whole subdivision of very long, narrow lots. And so it does specifically say on the map that lots 1, which is the one in question, and then lots 12 and 13 shall derive access from the interior streets only, so 12 and 13. So it's all the ones that face on Leetown. The planning board at that time made the determination that they did not want driveways on Leetown, and they just directed that the driveways would be on the interior roads, Kane and whatever, Ritter Road on the other side there. So, but our previous applications, we've seen some lots with as many as 3 and 4 front yards,
Yep.
because they are in fact corner lots. Now, just to read into the record, the provision here, under our regulatory provisions, we have supplementary bulk regulations 194-100 corner lots. On a corner lot in any district, there shall be provided a yard on each street equal in depth to the required front yard on such street. So this front yard setback in residential lots is the 50 feet. A rear yard shall be provided on each corner lot, and in residential zones, the owner shall select which yard is the rear yard. In all other zones, the planning board, upon recommendation of the building inspector, shall determine which yard is the rear yard during site plan review after considering the orientation of the existing and/or proposed structure or structures and the characteristics of the surrounding property. So it is up to the property owner to determine which is their rear yard, but they really, in this case, have 2 yards to choose from. It's the one behind the physical front of their house, which, given the size of this lot, anything, practically, this is another one of those lots that practically anything they wanted to do is going to require variance. The reason this comes into play is that they began construction on a pool to the
14.
right of the front of the house, and that pool extends, and patio, and now a retaining wall, extends in front of the front line of the house. So
Is there a better picture than the two that are in the packet?
Of the lot or of what, Mary?
It's a little hard to determine.
Yeah, you can see, on the aerial though, you can see the pool, I presume.
Is that what that is? That
That
black
round
dot
thing?
is the pool?
Around, have you looked at it? The above-ground pool?
It's an above-ground pool.
Was an above-ground pool.
Yeah, that they have now dug around to bring earth to it, and they've now put a patio to make it level.
Oh.
So part of what we're going to,
That's interesting.
Rick has gone out and done multiple inspections. So this is the side of the front of the house back in August. And this is September, not much difference, so Tara can see it is an above-ground pool. And part of the issue, by the way, is also that there's a 6-foot fence, but is that fence still there now? I don't think
No.
so.
I
Okay.
put that out.
Are the side of this pool concrete? No. I've seen people using the...
And then this is in December.
Those concrete systems, you know, they prefab 'em for the basement, they've been using that to do a pool line.
This is the house in December.
It looks like it's concrete there, doesn't it?
So there is now a level patio behind a retaining wall surrounding the pool.
And the one behind it.
Now, a
So-
pool is allowed in a side yard,
Yeah, it looks like it, yeah.
but in this case, the pool is coming out beyond the front of the front house, so it is in the front yard.
They've actually done a good job of hiding it.
Of hiding the pool,
Yeah.
right. Except that when they
Yeah.
go to use it, they're not, you know, they're still on Leetown Road, so.
Yeah.
So,
He's calling this his backyard.
even though it is extending out in front of the front line of the house.
Oh, I see, okay.
That's the problem with these lots, because
Right.
you have two fronts, so if that's a front, his back is just
His back's gonna be a little
L,
piece,
a
yeah.
little L-shaped thing.
But because we have been requested to do an interpretation and this applicant is in court, we can actually proceed with holding a public hearing to make sure that, you know, the members of the public agree with our interpretation, so we're not holding up the court deliberations related to this.
Yeah, I have no, I mean, if the question is, do we put it on for public hearing, I don't have a problem with that.
But again, the applicant is not here to put the signs and all that. I mean,
Well, we can
Oh, yeah,
notify
if they
them,
don't advertise,
and
then
we won't
we
have it.
won't have the public hearing.
But if they do, we can go ahead with the next meeting.
Because it's not, they're asking for an interpretation, so it's not related specifically to their lot, even though they are asking
Correct.
which is the front yard for their lot. So, but because it's an interpretation, I think this one's different than our other applications. And so in that regard, I'm suggesting that perhaps we schedule the public hearing, we'll have Pam call them and
Yeah, whatever, notify
ask them to come in and get their
absolutely.
signs.
I have a question
Two
about
signs,
the
by the way,
terrace
'cause-
that they built.
Yeah,
If that's the front yard, and now this is a in-ground pool, wouldn't that be considered a pool deck? Which requires 15 feet to the property line, and they're in the front yard, which requires 50 feet. Isn't-
well,
They
but
only
it's,
need that for the pool, not for the...
but a pool is not allowed in the front yard.
Right,
So that's,
but the pool's still on the side, but the deck extends forward.
all right, but it's not, is it really a deck because it's not attached to the pool? Now it's a
Don't know, I
patio.
haven't physically seen how he did around the pool. If
Yeah.
he built another retaining wall
Well, he
to
does-
hold the soils back.
Right,
and
so he
then,
built a
You know,
patio.
came up to it. I don't think the weight of the water would hold the earth back.
Right,
No, it must not be touching the side of the pool.
Right.
Not on, that's why I was asking if it was concrete or not.
But he needs a
Even
4-foot
that.
barrier around the pool. Now, he's going to put something on top of this terrace. Now, that becomes 6 or
Right.
7 feet high.
right.
It's that high?
It's
Well,
about
look at the
2.5
walls
feet.
coming up for the retaining wall. If, remember that he's bringing these
Oh.
walls up the side of the pool, and then if he puts any kind of fencing on top of it,
But- well,
where is the
this-
height
this-
determined?
This wall's not that high,
But
so it
if
must drop down. But you're
about
right, for
2.5
the
feet.
backside, you would need engineering for a 6-foot high. What's Well, if it's 4 feet high, if the pool's 4 feet, he's still safe. If it's anywhere
If it's an inch
underneath,
higher, he's,
he's got a problem.
right.
You need a 4-foot barrier to enter that area.
Yeah. But
So
under
he
the
could put
code
it
now,
on,
you don't
he
need
could
a,
put it around the outside of that terrace,
Yeah.
but I think his intent is to put it on top of the terrace. So he has privacy like he had before, because that's why he had that other fence.
so we have to, I mean, if he puts a fence on top, is that what you're saying? If he,
Yeah.
I
You're
think that's
building
what
a
he's
fence up.
intending to do, because he's calling this his backyard.
well, if he puts a retaining wall up and it goes pretty even with the side of the house and puts another 4 feet, is that getting to 6 feet in the front yard? That we had that once before.
That retaining
where
wall
somebody
wasn't there
wanted-
before, and but for that pool, would that retaining wall be there?
It's an interesting question.
Yeah.
But we had that before where they wanted to build a
But-
berm and then put a 4-foot fence on it.
Right, and actually, that's not the question that's before us right now. I know you're asking it because down the road, if he
his-
gets to keep the pool,
His next
you know
appearance
that's going
is
to be the
next
next.
week in court, so
Okay.
because he didn't show here tonight, I don't know if we're going to send him directly to the judge at that point,
Okay.
so it wouldn't hurt to have an idea what your thoughts are. I know Tom's not here tonight, but, you know,
I believe we have recommended in the past that people are allowed to build berms and then put their 6-foot fence on top of the berm. Because there are circumstances where the property behind the
Right.
front goes up, and so by building up the front,
but if we're going to call this the front yard,
right.
Depends
it's-
where
Need
he's
a
gonna put it.
variance.
If he puts it somewhere behind the retaining wall too, I'm not sure why, that retaining wall seems to come out fairly far. But the perspective is shot in looking at these pictures, you really can't tell. Because the pool, how far in front of the front line, if we call that the front line?
it's
is-
almost even.
The front of the pool is even with the house?
Almost even. I think I
Yeah,
got a.
whereas this retaining wall looks like it's out about 25 feet.
Do we have a survey from the applicant by any chance?
What Mary held up before is what we have.
Survey would be nice.
Well, this is a pool application to the town building department. Did the building department ask for a survey, or you ask for it when the pool is in?
I think it all started with a violation by Artie Kaufman because he did not apply for a permit,
Oh, that's the other issue.
and then he did, so.
It's just above ground pool.
Well, it started as an above ground and now it has gone below ground, so.
All right, so,
Yeah, I've seen that before, they've done
That
things.
almost shows it even with the front of the house. This is the front of the house, this is the fence that he took down, and then the terrace comes out here now.
Yeah. And this is going up?
It's
like-
pretty flat,
Because that's a lot of
just a
rock.
collection of rocks he's made in the back.
Oh, again, I have no problem putting it on for a public hearing.
for the interpretation only,
Yep.
yeah.
That's fine.
Let's just see that.
Otherwise, we're just speculating based on the
Yes,
pictures.
this is the front door, so if you take it across, but where's the, I don't, without the street, you can't, yeah, you can't see, can't quite line it up.
Yeah, it seems that he may have put in almost like 2-3 feet of concrete around the above ground pool.
And the front yard, we're measuring from the front of the house now, not the back of the
Yeah,
house.
but look at
right?
it, I mean, you see up here,
Mhm.
distance, I mean, so it is anywhere from 18 inches to 3 feet at least. Distance.
Yeah, I mean, difference in height. But
In
the
the
question
height,
is,
yeah,
how
sure.
close to that pool is it itself? He must, I don't know how he's doing it.
All right,
Motion to
well,
advertise.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree
let's
that-
advertise for the interpretation, so we move the application forward.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
because that's
then-
not really our concern. He's gonna-
Exactly.
he's gonna have to get a
He's still going to
permit.
have violations, because there's a shed on there. If there's other issues, that's still for the building department to deal with, and if they need to come back again, so be it. But for the time being, let's resolve the issue of front yards. Okay, so motion to advertise?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, so
And
Pam,
Pam,
you need to call them, though, and direct that they need to purchase 2 signs, because they have 2 front yards. Okay? And then we'll see them next month. And with no other applicants here, do I have a motion to adjourn? Oh, all right, hold on, let her check the lobby.
She's so good.
Can I hold on to these till next
Did
month?
that.
Can I hold on to the color pictures
Yeah.
till next month? Okay.
And we still have to move to adjourn the other reviews, or we don't worry about that? We don't worry about that.
They're no-shows, they're reviews. They're,
So, we don't worry about that.
I'll get some more pictures before the next time. With a better perspective, maybe.
yep. Okay,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor? Aye. See you all next.